The brand new live-action Aladdin movie is almost here, and I'm curious how it's going to compare to the original. But with Aladdin's release, I thought I would go back and play Aladdin for Super Nintendo. Now, I've already talked about the Sega version in the second episode of Universe of Games, but unlike a lot of Sega Super Nintendo ports, these two games were created by two different companies, and are in fact their own unique thing. So let's take a look at what Capcom did with the project. So as Capcom games go, it does look really beautiful. Aladdin can jump on enemies or stun them with apples, and even though this really isn't necessary, I love how Abu follows you around wherever you go, and throughout the game does get a few funny reactions. Have you ever tried to fit an entire apple in your mouth at one time? Yeah, it's not as easy as he makes it look. The levels look gorgeous, and they don't shy away from using the Super Nintendo's abilities to their advantage. Look at the background in the third act of Agrabah. Wow, you have multiple layers all moving at different speeds as you go through the level to simulate movement. Brilliant! So along your adventure, you can find a few items that will help you out, such as this piece of fabric that allows you to glide through the air. Originally, I didn't think I was going to use it much, but you'd be surprised how many times it comes in handy. And if at some point you find a scarab, you will get to play a bonus game at the end of the level, for a chance to win more lives and continues. Whoa, wait! Is Abu's head on backwards? Huh. Now for the most part, the levels follow the movie. Like, you get to explore the Cave of Wonders and escape it on the magic carpet, and of course, fight Jafar in human form and in snake form. But there is one part that I just have to be curious about, and I'm not sure if they were short on levels or if someone at Capcom just really wanted to put this in, but after Aladdin and company leave the Cave of Wonders, a random pyramid level is thrown in. And the geography doesn't make any sense. The story of Aladdin is supposed to be based around the Middle East, and yet they decided to put an Egyptian-themed pyramid as a level. And what makes that even weirder is Abu is the boss. Makes no sense. But hey, even the Sega version had a few things like that, such as the desert level and going through Agrabah a second time even though you already did it once. And it's not like they were bad levels, they just seemed out of place. But one level that I absolutely loved was the carpet ride over Agrabah. Now, it's basically a bonus level. There's no enemies or bosses or anything like that. The sky is full of diamonds, and if you want, you can collect as many as you can. Which is something I did do as a kid, but what I was more fascinated by was just looking at the detail in the background and just enjoying the 16-bit Whole New World song. I liked this level so much that I memorized the password. Sure, as an adult, it's not as magical as it once was, but I still think it's a good addition to the game. So after all this, which do I think is better? The Super Nintendo version or the Sega one? Well, even as a kid, I loved them both and thought that each one had what the other one didn't, and that if they were to get combined together into one game, it would be completely awesome. I think the Sega Inside the Lamp level is better than the Super Nintendo version, but I love the flying carpet scene and wish the Sega one had it. The animations on Aladdin look better on the Sega one, but the Super Nintendo Jafar battle is better than the Sega Jafar battle, so it's really hard to say. But if I had to answer, I would have to say that I do enjoy the Sega version just a little bit more, but I still enjoy the Super Nintendo version also. Honestly, you can't go wrong with either one. And if you want to get into the Aladdin spirit for the movie, I suggest giving them both a try.